is something we want to call the issue of time. The issue of time. God has a timetable for everything. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, from verse 1 to 8. Ecclesiastes 3, 1 to 8. The Bible says, as far as God is concerned, there is a time for everything. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to sow, a time to reap, a time to sing, a time to refrain from singing, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, and so on and so forth. Everything has a time. For example, in Romans chapter 9, from verse 14 to 16, Romans 9, from verse 14 to 16, the Bible tells us that God says He will have mercy on whom He will have mercy, and compassion on whom He will have compassion. That's what He said. But then, Psalm 102 verse 13, Psalm 102 verse 13 tells us that even He's having mercy, He's having compassion, is time-bound. Because Psalm 102 verse 13 says, Thou will arise and have mercy on Zion. Why? Because the time to favor her, yea, the set time has come. I believe very deeply that the time for someone has come.
Amen.
Now, how do I know when my time has come? You see, because in the passage we read here, Elisha woke up in the morning. He wasn't expecting anything other than to do his business as a farmer. But some meetings have been held behind his back. And that meeting is about to disrupt his entire plans. How do I know when my time has come? When your time comes, two major things happen. And so as you are growing spiritually, take note of these very, very important things. Number one, certain things will happen beyond your control. Absolutely beyond your control. That will affect you profoundly. Certain things will happen to certain people that are not connected to you in any way whatsoever, but will spill over into your life. For example, Genesis chapter 41, from verse 1 to 44. Genesis 41 from verse 1 to 44. Joseph had known long ago that he was going to be a great man. The people will be coming to bow down to him, brothers, even father and mother. But when his time came, It was a king that had a dream, two sets of dreams. Joseph was having a nice sleep, the kind of sleep you can have as a prisoner, particularly if you are the one in charge of the prison. And somebody was dreaming two frightening dreams. By the time the dreamer woke up from his dreams, things started happening in the life of Joseph. The man who had been forgotten, even by the fellow he had helped, was suddenly remembered. Why? His time had come. By the end of the day, the prisoner had become the second in command to the king. Knees began to bow. A man who was in prison was now riding the second to the best chariot in the whole of Egypt. Why? His time had come. When your time for promotion comes, as we find in Daniel chapter 2, you can read from verse 1 to the end. Daniel 2, 1 to the end. The one that's going to be used to bring about your promotion will have a dream and forget the dream. The king had a dream and forgot the dream. He called the wise men together. Come and interpret my dream. They said, we can't interpret your dream unless you tell us. He said, I've forgotten the dream. Why? Because there is one person, just one man called Daniel. A prisoner, a slave, who was going to be promoted before the day was over. It wasn't Daniel that dreamt. It was the king that dreamt and forgot the dream. When your day comes, something will happen beyond your control to someone who will be a vessel in the hand of God to bring you to where you are going. In 1 Samuel chapter 9. You can read it from verse 1 to 27. 1 Samuel 9 from verse 1 to 27. When the time for promotion came for Saul, his father lost some animal. It wasn't the fault of Saul. He didn't know how the animal got lost. And incidentally, while Saul was about looking for the lost animal, the animal was found. But in the meantime, in searching for the lost animal, he came in contact with Samuel, the man who was going to anoint him to be king.